Yeah. Hello. Once again, you are joining Like a Boss, live on KCL Radio. You are listening to myself, Olu,
Chinasa,
Rose.
Well, now you know what? I can't hear anything on my headphones though, so I'll just put that aside.
Yeah, that's kind of awkward.
But anyway, let's get into it.
Let's go straight into it. So let's get into the news. This week has been it feels like it's been a popping week in terms of tech. Like there's a lot of things going on with the technology space, especially the social media guys.
Yeah, I'd say over in America, it's probably it's all popping off over there. And you know, I never really saw Donald Trump as much of a tech guy, but I think he's having quite a real impact on the tech companies. But anyway, yeah, we can start with the news.
You go straight in, Ruboy.
Ross, okay, I'm gonna start on, as I just mentioned, Donald Trump, and we all know that his main news outlets or method of communication is by using Twitter. Yep. You say anything to this guy, and he's just gonna roll out like 5 tweets dissing your whole life.
He's like a mad girlfriend that just
exactly right. You have a little argument and like tweeting all those tweets.
He's coming like those 21st century rappers. Like he's just dissing you on Twitter.
Yeah, it is kind of ridiculous, but I think, you know, most people might have thought that Twitter would be gaining from this because many people flocked to Twitter to actually read this guy's tweets, but as it turns out, Twitter is actually losing money. They've been making huge losses over the past few years. We're not going to get into the exact numbers, but essentially yesterday their share price fell by 10%, which, you know, for a company worth billions, that is huge. Yeah, so that's like clearly over £100 million or dollars lost in just in a day. So it is ridiculous. The other thing interesting about this news story is to look at the numbers. So Twitter has 319 million active users, and it might sound like a lot, but compare that to Facebook. Facebook have over 1 billion active users. So in reality, in the tech sphere, 319 million active users, probably not that much. So and another important thing to note is that Twitter's active users have been over 300 million for more than a year now, so it's actually not growing. The same people using Twitter 2 years ago are still the same people using it now, so they're really struggling to get new people into the field, unlike Facebook, who they're expanding like crazy, especially in the developing markets, because they've obviously strategized. They know that, you know, in the Western countries there's a bit of Facebook fatigue, and so they're aiming to new markets. So yeah, I think just different strategies for different tech companies, different outcomes. Twitter, unfortunate.
Do you know what? Twitter's a bit interesting because I don't know, their main problems is trying to monetize from the users that they already have. So like right now, I think the biggest revenue is from video ads and whatnot, but even that's been told or been found out to not be as effective as they think it would. So they're sort of struggling of ways to actually monetize the platform.
And I think the same, they had that deal with the NFL to stream the Super Bowl on Twitter.
This is where I feel like they have space to sort of enhance their numbers. I feel like with the sort of sports streaming and all of that, I feel like that could be an area where they can actually boost their standing. But
I think that's a good point, because a lot of the time people trying to illegally stream sports events usually go to Twitter to find good links.
All the time.
So yeah, I think if they do continue pushing in that direction, it might come off. And I think Instagram took a similar position with having celebrities use the Snapchat thing on the stories feature on Instagram to, you know, I saw Lady Gaga took over the Instagram feed for the Super Bowl because she was performing there, and I thought it was fairly interesting. Obviously, clearly well coordinated. The snaps might look a bit ordinary, but they're definitely not. Very professionally done. So yeah, I think it's just interesting to see how these social media channels are trying to get more users in. We'll move on to the next news story.
Cool.
My next news story is something to do with YouTube and YouTubers.
Okay.
And it was, in my opinion, it was only a matter of time before one of these YouTubers went rogue, and it's happened. So a YouTuber called, his name is Craig Douglas, aka I'm trying my best to say this right, Nepanthes. I have. Apparently, he has 1.3 million subscribers on YouTube. It's one of these guys that does the FIFA, plays FIFA, blah blah blah.
Right.
So, alright, cool. He's gone rogue. Apparently, he's been found guilty of running an illegal FIFA gambling website.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Where players can basically play each other for FIFA coins. But the reason why it's been dubbed a gambling website is because obviously these coins can then be traded on the black market for actual physical currency.
Money, yeah.
So little children from varying ages are gambling, and the court has taken such a hard stance on it, and they have fined Nepanthes, if that's his name, £250,000 in fines and legal costs. So what do you guys think?
I think it's just interesting to see this sort of news story has come out, because I thought it was inevitable. I think with the rise of gaming, you have gaming competition, you have these YouTubers always gaming, you have many YouTube channels that are based on some celebrity coming in and playing FIFA with some other guy, and they have a chat. And yeah, I think the whole gambling thing was just inevitable. I think the governments should be more progressive in terms of looking at how they can actually structure such an industry to go along with current legislation, rather than just trying to put a cork in it away.
Poor guys though, they probably thought what they were doing was
it is very innovative. It's innovative.
It's so innocent. I mean, you could even call it innovative, but two guys, they put something on stake. I don't know.
Yeah, I think people should have the freedom to do that. Like if you came to my house and we play FIFA, you and I could easily say to each other, let's put a fiver on it.
Yeah, put a fiver. But I think the problem is where they've obviously they're really big in YouTube, and a lot of young children follow them and would have used this.
I think it's also the scale of their operations, because the value of what they have in assets or in FIFA coins or whatever is actually reaching into the millions. So this guy being fined 250,000, that's just they know he can afford to pay that fine. Do you understand? So it's ridiculous.
It's an interesting area, right? I've been keeping track of this for a little while. There's a YouTuber called H3H3, and he did a really good piece on these guys they were basically doing the same thing like a couple of years ago on, I think it was Counter-Strike.
Okay.
You heard of that game?
Yeah, on Steam, too many people playing it.
So loads of people were doing the same thing. It was like Counter-Strike Go, like CS Go, and they were gambling things in the game, so it's like weapons and stuff in the game, but they had a monetary value, and these guys basically set up a gambling site where you could gamble stuff, and they were big influencers, and they got in a bunch of trouble about it, because what happened was they set up this gambling website. They didn't tell anyone it was their website, and then they were posting these videos of this is me gambling all my stuff. Oh my god, I just won, you could win too.
It's all very crony, isn't it?
All the kids are watching it oh man, I'm going to check out this website. No idea that the guys doing the videos run the website and obviously scam it so it looks like they win every time. And so the thing about it is it's fine to set up gambling websites, but it's this thing of they're basically backdooring it so that you gamble on
that's
people
the problem.
And it's kids that can basically just get hooked on gambling on the sly.
I think if they want to set up a gambling, everybody knows how tightly regulated the gambling industry is. So if you were to set up a gambling website, of course you should just know that you must have some legal due diligence to take care of, and they've clearly just thought to do away with that.
It's bad. I mean, it's interesting because it's another example of regulation can't keep up with what's actually going on in tech.
True.
It's so hard for them to regulate against this. These guys just pop up and it's FIFA gambling.
FIFA gambling. Who would have thought?
What is that? How's someone working in a court going to even know what that is? You know what I mean?
That's totally true. Like Ross said, that is bad, real bad. Michael Jackson.
Okay, I'm going to do my next news story, which is kind of linked to my first news story anyway. We have some people from Snapchat throwing throwing shade towards Twitter.
Making diss tracks.
Making diss tracks for real. So essentially they're saying that just to put some context around this, Snapchat is heading towards an IPO, so an initial public offering. They're going to go public, so you can buy shares in Snapchat if you'd like, if you love them so much.
Guy Evans
$20 billion valuation.
Oh man.
I mean, money.
Could have been me, bro. Could have been me. I had that idea. It's still my idea, man.
So essentially people from Snapchat say that Snapchat is the next Facebook, and not the next Twitter.
Banter.
So obviously that's just, it's going by the success of Facebook. They're saying we're not going to be those sort of failed promises like Twitter. We're going to be more of a
living up to the
they're going to live up to the expectation like Facebook did.
Do you think they will though? Do you think they will?
I think not.
No, I think they will. I feel like Snapchat is iconic. Like, let me snap this. Like, they've like the whole everything about it is so iconic, and when you start to use it as a verb, that's how you know something has reached
it's become phenomenal.
So I don't know. I feel
that's literally the right word.
That's literally the right word.
What, phenomenal? Yeah, it's become a phenomenon. Phenom. So I disagree. I think Snap's going to surprise a lot of people. I feel like that even though it's not as pure as it once was in its idea, it has managed to find a way to monetize its surface adequately on like Twitter.
I like when I go on Snapchat. I mean, I don't use Snapchat much, but when I do and I go to not the stories that your friends have posted, but the stories from other people, and you see like magazines and news channels, and I love that stuff because it's informative but in a very casual,
jovial way. But I think they have a lot of Kylie Jenners, a lot of Kim Kardashian stories that you have to just erase from your memory because just nobody cares at all.
There's really no value in that. Also, I was just gonna drop another quick fact about the Snapchat founders who are now worth over 4 billion each.
Cash me outside, boy. Cash me outside, boy.
It's just interesting to see how Snapchat is going. Personally, because I love Instagram. That's my favorite social media channel. I think
so. That means you'd automatically love Snapchat since they copy it so often.
You would think that, but that's why I think Snapchat would face a very challenging future because first of all, Facebook, who owns Instagram, they've made their mark in that market. They've put their foot there and say we are going to directly compete with you, and I don't think Snapchat can handle Facebook as a competitor.
Once upon a time, people didn't think Nokia would, fall out of competition against iPhone. So
I think a similar story, and I would have expected Facebook to have collapsed by now, but the fact that they haven't, they own WhatsApp, they own Instagram, so Facebook itself might be going down the drain as far as we in the Western countries are concerned. But Facebook have a very, very good commercial strategy. They are always buying up new companies that are up and coming in the trend, and they could have easily bought Snapchat. They wanted to buy Snapchat, so
Snapchat said no.
You know what though, that's a really, really interesting point. That's really smart, right? Because it's like there's a really interesting book on this, The Innovator's Dilemma. You might have seen it about.
We'll have a copy.
Oh yeah, come on, Star's got a copy. There's that theory that like big businesses, when they get too big, they can't innovate and do the new amazing creative ideas that are going to be the next $1 billion company. But what it seems like the new thing to do now is just acquire that. So it's like Google, Facebook, they're buying good stuff because
they know they can't get that from within. That whole sort of creative startup thing they've gone past that stage. So just the only option is to outsource it. Just buy them in. And even another interesting thing I see is when they buy out these companies. So for example, Google buying out DeepMind, for example, WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram and all that, is that the way they try to keep these companies separated so that they still maintain that sort. So the Instagram team is still the Instagram team, and WhatsApp team is still the WhatsApp team. It's not that they now all become Facebook. So I think that's pretty interesting, and long may it last for Mark Zuckerberg.
So moving from £1 billion or $1 billion company to another, my second story is about Uber. This is one that I found particularly interesting. So Uber, the headline was Uber hires a flying car engineer.
Whoa.
I sat down for a minute, and I thought, wait, there's no such thing as a flying car. So how do you hire a flying car engineer? And that's when I clocked that Uber is ahead of the game. Like, these guys are amazing. So the story is a former NASA engineer has been hired by Uber to help its research into flying cars. Uber dreams of having a fleet of small electric aircrafts which can take off and land vertically.
Wow.
It is a wow moment. Like this, including in my opinion, is more exciting than all this driverless AI bullshit. I really think driverless car. Imagine the Jetsons,
Jetson stuff.
That is amazing. But my point here, or my thought piece, if anything, is how can you bloody create a job that doesn't even exist Like
Yeah,
that is
they're in the future.
Imagine. But to be fair, it has been done before. Like dinosaur scientists, dinosaurs never existed.
I'll do this again.
Listen, dinosaur slander all day, every day on the radio show. But
yeah, you know what? I like this story from Uber because now my perception of Uber, I'd say, has improved because for some reason now, hearing something like this would make me like Uber even more because you have all these taxi companies and there are numerous taxi apps or for Halo, you know, we all know all about them.
yeah.
And Uber everyone else is thinking, how do we improve the system of getting drivers in their cars to pick up passengers and deliver them to their destination? And Uber are just not even. They thinking something totally different. They're testing out self-driving cars, hiring flying car engineers, and my lord, it's mad. So I just wait for the future. Really.
Yeah, and I want to see how that one progresses. Apparently, the first sort of there's a company, I forget the name, but they've done a prototype, and apparently they want to test it by the end of this year. So.
Of a flying car.
That lands and takes off vertically. Like that is game changing. So we got to watch this space. I think that's it for the news section.
Quickly, I was just gonna say because I watched a video yesterday and it might be an old video, but anyway, some guy in his back garden stuck a bunch of drones onto some what looks like garden furniture, and he actually created himself a vertical flying seat. I wouldn't call it a car. It's just a seat,
like a sofa that can take off.
Not even a sofa. It's one of those lounge like beach chairs kind of thing. So he's chilling. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. Wait, you guys can talk amongst yourself. I'm trying to.
Yeah. Also, you know, I'm just gonna put this to you, Ross. How much money would you put on the free promotion that Addison Lee got from the song?
Oh, Addison Lee,
because
and the remix. Like, don't get that. I don't know, but it's probably Gecko, Mrs. Silver. Nah, I weren't Krypton Coding. It's Gecko, Mrs. Silver. But like, it doesn't matter, fam. It was the main guy. And
the promotion, like, it's crazy.
Nah, you should have seen the remix video. Like, Addison Lee, actually, I reckon. They supplied
somebody in Addison Lee.
Yeah, they supplied some vehicles, so they're all in front of Addison Lee. It's so wavy, fam. They told Bentley allow it. Today we got Addison Lee back in the thing. Nah, it's actually sick. Apparently they had the guy perform at their Christmas party as well.
Wow, Addison Lee.
My guy is iconic. I would play the song, but I haven't loaded it. So
you know what it is, yeah. You know what it's like. It's like when
I will do it.
It's like when they bring back all the old clothes and like now everyone's wearing like a Lessie and like It's like let's bring back Addison Lee. In like 10 years' time, everyone will be back in black hats. It's like a throwback, man. It's a throwback to the old transport.
Come and jump in my Addison Lee.
How are you singing the song, bro?
Oh, you're taking long to cue up the old scale. I'm gonna have to do the acapella.
I won't stop you, bro. You're gonna have to belt it out.
Hold me back.
Nah, you can't have that still. But so this is notes. Hopefully, Addison Lee. Yes. That was notes. Addison Lee. Over the little break, we found some
interesting items.
Very much interesting. Unusual. We're gonna do a little taste session of orange Tango popcorn.
Hold that up.
And Chinnis is gonna do. These guys are doing apple.
Yeah, we've got apple.
Orange.
This is
popcorn.
crazy, man.
Tango
flavored popcorn.
I'm actually gone. We're gonna do a taste session at the end of this show.
At the end. Bro, like you can't just get Tango popcorn and then walk.
So what you want to do it now? You man are crazy.
I might say let's wait to the end.
Imagine if it's crazy. I mean,
you have that bitter taste.
Imagine you've got some Tango orange breaths, fam. You gotta wait till you come off air, man.
Just drown the mic. So we'll leave that right till the end, and so. For now, we're going to do some thought pieces. So we're just going to bring up some interesting topics. We're going to discuss them. So Ross, lead the way.
Ross.
All right, let me get my notes up real quick. Okay, I got 3 points that I was interested in making.
All right, Geez. Tell us all about.
I'm going to be here all night.
I'll go with the first one, right? I'll go with a little monologue on the first one. Startup's dead. Right, the startup scene's very interesting. People I'm speaking to that are people that run startups in the past, like people that I've met that have made exits, they're kind of like not feeling what's going on at the moment. There's a lot of people that are kind of skeptical about where things are headed.
What is going on?
Yeah. So it's like they're skeptical about where things are headed. They think that VCs are like less interested. They want return really fast. There's so much uncertainty, and the real question is: are startups dead? And is there a big difference between a startup and a business? Because what I'm doing at the moment is very much a business rather than a startup, right? And I think a lot of big companies are moving towards. Or not big companies, but like people that are investing and people that are supporting companies. They're helping businesses rather than startups. People that are just like making things. They're not looking for rounds of investment. They're just looking to sell stuff and make cash now and keep it growing, rather than we've got an idea and we need you to pay for it to be made. So I don't know what your thoughts on that are. I'm worrying startups are dying a bit.
That's very interesting. It's like when Nas said hip hop is dead, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's somewhat iconic. But that's a good point. Are startups dead?
You know what? I'm just gonna clear up 2 points. So the first one, it seems like there's a difference between businesses and startups, and I don't really like that difference. I think startups are businesses.
Okay.
Startups are just businesses that are not yet fully established. In fact, I think startup is just a nicer way of saying my business hasn't taken off yet. That's literally it. And if you are calling yourself a startup and not a business because for some reason you don't have some business strategy or some business end goal, then you're not a startup even, you're just some guy doing a project. Second point about the VCs, I've in passing just spoken to Oli about this many times before, but as I'll put on my economics thinking cap now, I think we're heading towards a bubble or towards a bubble bursting. There's been some interesting news coming out of Australia this week. We're not going to start discussing that now, but essentially I think we're just again in a run-up to another sort of recession, economic crisis, like we were in at the same time 10 years ago, sort of heading towards 2008 and the crash, and we all know what happened there. But yeah, I just think it's just simply a repeat. So of course there will be hard times for startups trying to get investments. I think when the bubble crashes in like 3-4 years from now, and you know the economic mood is starting to pick up again, then yeah, it'll just go back to normal. I don't think startups are dead.
You know what though, I do agree with your sort of definition between the two, startups and business, but then again I still sort of see where you're going with this idea that startups are dead. But I don't know, I don't think startups are dead though, but I do acknowledge the sort of shift in VC looking, rather than looking at ideas, they want to see what your milestones and what you have achieved. So I would say that in that case maybe the startup industry in the UK is starting to mature, because it's always been way behind America. Like startups in America aren't dead. Silicon Valley was like the work of startups, and that's been booming and it still is booming. But maybe our definitions of what we know startups to be is starting to evolve, and as we're starting to get more involved with technology and business, that you know you're starting to see a lot more corporate strategies from these startups. I don't know. It's sort of interesting. It's an interesting thought piece. To be fair, you've left me bamboozled.
Nah, you know, I support the whole thing about VCs are now much more stringent in the requirements they'll look out for before investing in a business, and I think for me that is perfectly fine. I think startups in the UK, probably just worldwide, in the past, I'll say since 2010, it seems like everyone's had a bit of an easy ride. You have startups raising rounds and rounds of investments yet making no profit whatsoever. You have stuff like Twitter losing money constantly. Where did they even get that money from in the first place?
Do you know what though? Do you know what?
These guys aren't getting their money back.
Do you know what though? Because actually I was doing some reading and they said software and technology software in particular is the area of technology that's been forecasted the biggest growth in the future, and that's led me to think that things like apps, and that's which really was driving the startup arena a couple years ago, has started to decline. Like you can't just come up with a beautiful app and say I've got this app and please give me money, because it doesn't work like that. But investors are always like, a 14-year-old has like apps. Like tell me what 14-year-old doesn't have an app.
I think it's still the focus is still on solutions, digital technical solutions, software products, or just let's just call it technology in general. But there's a
difference between an app and the software.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Solution.
I think I agree with you that we're sort of reaching the tail end of that whole app revolution. With the iPhone coming out, it was all brand new to everyone. Everyone's creating a new app And I think we're just going to move on to a next platform. And I think you see many startups already trying to engage in that sort of, people talking about automation, virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence. So I think as one door closes, many other doors open. And yeah, it's just about keeping up to pace. If you're still someone who says, yeah, I'm a player in the startup field or something like that, and you're still thinking, oh, what cool app can I make next, then you're clearly way behind, because everyone is moving on to the next thing, and you can't still be in that. You just need to keep up, or if anything, just look ahead. What is the next big thing? Take a stake in that. It's all a gamble at the end of the day. People invested so much in VR might never take off. It's all a gamble, but don't still be focused on creating a cool app.
Now VR will take off because Like a Boss is using it.
Oh yes,
Don't tell
360 video. We're setting up something actually. So yeah, just keep your eye on this space. You should be seeing some interesting stuff coming out in relation to VR. So yeah,
always.
Is that number one of your bullet point? Can we get bullet point number 2?
That was like 1/2, and actually you kind of fall into my other category, which is kind of are there any new ideas coming out? Because I think a lot of people have been caught up in this thing of like AR, VR, that's the new thing, that's the new idea. But it's been a new thing for like probably 2 years now, right? Mm-hmm. Like realistically, people that know. So it's not really a new idea anymore. Like people have seen AR, they play Pokemon Go, they've had a go on a Samsung headset. Mm-hmm. Like, are there any new ideas? Like, what's coming next? Because like, although everyone's jumping on the VR bandwagon, ourselves included, because it's a really cool space. Yeah. Like, who's thinking about what's coming next? And like, do you see anything down the line? What are your predictions?
You know what? I think that's a good segue into Chinisa's thought piece. Yeah. So Chinisa, fire on. What do you think is the next big
idea? I think there are many next big ideas. Some will fail, some will come through. Like I said, if you're still thinking about apps, then you're way behind. You need to go do some homework on your business idea.
Homework.
My thought piece was about automation, and this is just, again, I mentioned Donald Trump almost every episode, but this is just coming from the whole sort of Donald Trump wave.
You love him.
I don't really know what to think of the guy anymore. But interestingly, he's riding off the wave of working class people saying, working class people are in some sort of economic crisis. Times are hard, and everyone's looking for someone else to blame, right? So you're either blaming immigrants, you're blaming Muslims, or you're blaming the robots. My topic is about the robots. So automation and its impact on the economy, employment, welfare.
It's actually true, because people will say these Europeans are all stealing our job, mate.
Yeah, but they'll blame anyone.
You hop into a Tesco and you've got like 10 self-checkout. Ain't the Europeans that done that one, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your Donald Trumps and all the entrepreneurs.
So I think my question, I'll just put it out there, is what do you think of automation? Is it actually taking people's jobs? Is it a positive thing for us looking ahead?
And then if I can add another question, but I'll see you guys at the end.
I think, of course, it's good. Like, you got to take these people's jobs and automate them. You got to take jobs and automate them. The thing is, it's been happening for years, right? Like, literally, there would have once been a time where, all this stuff that we're doing, you wouldn't have been able to do. Like, you're automating things now that you hadn't even thought of. Like, when you pick up your phone and send a text, that is based on like
a messenger that used to run around, and he used to be a messenger.
Literally,
like a messenger guy.
Yeah, like all that stuff. Like when you make a phone call, there used to be like an operator that literally had to like,
or a pigeon,
or the pigeon, pigeons. All those unemployed pigeons now just standing at Trafalgar Square,
exactly, terrorizing on people's heads.
Yeah, exactly. But like no one sits around and goes like, oh, it's so out of line that all the switchboard operators are still out of jobs. No, all those women and men, but mainly women, I think it was back then, that were doing switchboard jobs. Yeah. They went and got other jobs and did other stuff. And we're fine, and like we love our phones.
There'll be new jobs
pushed us forward. Yeah, that's what I think.
The economy will innovate itself and create new jobs for its population.
It has to. Definitely.
Yeah, it has to.
I have just to put a bit of context on it, because my idea towards the whole automation thing is just that humans would just be more productive, and we don't need to put ourselves in these difficult jobs where you're toiling, sweat and tears. You can actually just have time to chill out at home and just relax. And this is one thing I find quite weird and perverse actually about the general social sentiments around this, is that people really remember the whole time of the mines closing, and people were like, oh, you're taking away our lives and our communities. It's like people actually enjoy having shitty jobs. people want to be in a mine in the dark, like all 24/7, and you know, like, having like, it sounds controversial, but that is what is true. Like people are so attached to the current way of doing things rather than looking forward and thinking, how can my life be made easier? People actually just enjoy suffering and working hard. Humans were not made to work from birth to death. You like think about it. We all go to school. You come out of school, you work till you retire and you're old, and then you die.
Basically,
like, I mean,
life over.
That's not life.
So what is life, Grand Puba?
Life is being on some mountain, painting pictures, and just like I say, just chilling out and having time to do other more leisurely things.
So all right, cool. Using that, yeah. So if you had an all AI, like
AI agents,
yeah. If you had like Siri, like as your personal assistant, or you had something like Siri, what would you make them automatically do for you on a regular basis?
Loads of things, like remind me to call that person who I should have called like 3 weeks ago.
But it has to be proper systematic.
Okay, systematic. I would say something like, maybe if I have a form to fill out, like maybe for example right now I want to renew my passports. Can you just fill out that form for me and send it off, please?
Or
come on, something simple like that. It spared me 10 minutes of my life.
It's all stuff that can be done though. It's like the passport example is good because you got to renew your passport, right? Like somewhere on a system in the government building there will be something that says like Chin was issued a passport and it expires on the 16th, right?
Yeah.
Why isn't that just automated so that it just updates itself and just they send you a passport?
Yeah, like, send me a new one, innit?
Like why should you have to do that? And I think it's the same with so many little things that we do in our life.
Many little things, yeah.
I don't know, with the job thing it's interesting, like I think I've got like a decent stance on this in the sense that it's so easy to be like, oh well, what are these people going to do? Like when you want to make the checkouts, like where are those people going to go and work? But if you just said 20-30 years ago, like, oh my god, like where are these women that are doing switchboards going to go and work? And it's like, you don't actually know. Like some of them maybe are going and working.
Yeah, exactly. Stop asking that question because nobody knows. The future will come when it does, and there will be so many new things that you would never have predicted. That there are so many jobs now that didn't exist 20 years ago.
Yeah, and like those things are going to happen. You can't pretend to predict them and just be like, okay, TfL tube strike drivers, we're firing you. I'm replacing you with machines. But don't worry, in 20 years' time, we're definitely going to have flying cars, and you can be a flying car engineer. Like, who knows what it's going to be? But something you'll have a job. Like
definitely. I think so. You know what? I think it's also interesting to raise one point, which was I think given by Stephen Hawkins or The Economist. Anyway, I think what their prediction is that jobs will become divided in terms of you're going to have highly skilled work, i.e., some architects or dietitian or a doctor or stuff like that, you're a surgeon, right? So highly skilled, it can never be taken over by a computer. That would be at one top end, and then you're going to have really low skilled jobs which would be at the bottom end, and they still can't be automated. So think of, for example, your barber or the guy flipping burgers at your local chippy. That can't be automated. So you're going to have this great divide in
McDonald's. That's why
McDonald's. Then you're going to have many jobs in the middle, which are like sort of medium scale jobs, and that's really where automation is going to take place. Rather than just coming in there and taking your jobs. And another thing is, automation isn't really there to take over people's jobs. It's meant to support people's jobs.
People's jobs? Obviously, it's going to be the people who are the CEOs. Like, I'll get AI to make my job easier, so I don't have to employ X amount of people and make my whole business.
Well, yeah, but think of it. Even if you're,
so it's only really benefiting those at the top of the.
Even if you are a factory floor worker, right, and maybe before you had to lift heavy sheets of metal from one place to another, and now that's all automated, and all you do is stand there and just oversee that the process happens in the correct way.
The number of factory workers that factory would have employed would have decreased because they don't need as many people to do the heavy lifting.
I don't understand that as a negative point.
Yes, I mean that's fine.
That's perfectly fine. I don't want anyone lifting stuff.
Yeah, you guys can't be positive.
Anyway, you know what? I'll just move on to
you guys can't be Donald Trump.
I'll throw in some more information on this because I have in front of me some charts that seems to illustrate what kind of jobs are more likely or less likely to be taken over by computers. So this is called. The charts are just called computerizable jobs. Can
you name all the jobs there and then can I guess if they are likely to be?
Okay, you know what, we'll just divide it into, because it's given by percentage, so we'll just say above 50%, below 50%. So how about paralegals and legal assistants?
Less than 50%. Wait, less than 50% means not likely.
Unlikely to be, yeah.
Less than 50%.
No, you failed.
Damn.
Ooh.
And let's say,
Interesting.
Imagine I'm going to jail and like I'm speaking to Siri. Like that is so long. Fam.
okay, let's.
Bro, put lawyer on your case, bro. You're not going to beat the charge. Bro. You are not going to beat the charge on it.
Computer says no.
Do not cry.
You're facing 10, bro.
We also have
Free Olu. Free my dogs.
Automate those free Ollie t-shirts, man. That's what you need.
let's say musicians and singers.
Oh, more than 50%.
No, again, like
Less than 50.
less than 50%.
No, I meant that.
Yeah, okay. Let's say elementary school teachers.
No, it has to be less than 50%.
More than
Yeah,
50, more than 50.
no. Oli's right, yeah.
Really?
Less than 50. So anyway, you know,
How you gonna have a robot teaching your 5-year-old? Are you crazy?
Bro, the people that taught me when I was in year one.
Dora the Explorer wasn't no computer.
Come on.
conspiracies
Mate, bro.
still to be proved.
Mate.
But yeah, I'll just give you a quick idea of the kind of jobs that are here. So at the top of the list, we have loan officers, and they are 98% computerizable.
Like
And-
longer. But they're already, that
Exactly.
makes
So that's the thing. People can go online and apply for a credit card, and an automated system will say yes or no, depending on the information that's been put in. You don't actually need a human being to do this.
Oh, I get you.
Them
Let's go
snitches
to the opposite end of the scale. We have physicians and surgeons who are 0.4%, as well as elementary school teachers, 0.4%. A computer can never do that job, or is very unlikely to be able to do that job.
It's funny though, because I hear that and I actually think those would be the best jobs to do that with. Like if you could automate surgery, maybe 100 years time, but like if you could put someone in a machine that knows precision,
I think, but then
no shaking
what
hands.
happens if that machine just malfunctions and the patient die? Like, could you be able to accept or stomach that mistake rather if it came from a computer or if it came from a human?
Yeah, because you get these doctors that are like, surgeons have been working 24 hours, like really long days, and they're too tired and they fuck up a surgery and someone dies. And I actually think it's funny because like so often people say like, oh yeah, what if the machine has error? But it's like human error is just the same. Like
Even
it's
more prevalence.
Yeah, it's a fact of life.
But you can accept that as that's another human being who
Because they
makes
can
mistakes.
say sorry.
They're not. Yeah, they can say sorry. And they can probably mean it.
Siri can say
can't
sorry.
tell me. Siri
I'm
can't
sorry,
tell
bro.
me sorry. You can tell it's bare face. So
Just switch off the phone.
Nah, exactly.
Bye, Siri. But interestingly, we have somewhere in the middle of the scale at 48% likely to be taken over by computers. Do you want to know what it is?
Something interesting in the middle.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so computer programmers are 48% likely to be replaced by computers.
Irony.
How about that?
Irony.
That one's like some Inception stuff because it's like computer programs get replaced by computers, but who replaces the computers that program the program?
Oh my god! Whoa. Mind blown.
Very
Yeah, bro.
interesting. But I would just put this out there to say to people, if you are not aware already, just understand that AI or artificial intelligence agents can or will, if they already can't, will soon be able to create computer software. So we have some artificial intelligence agents who can actually create code, i.e. this computer software can create me an app or create me a website.
Jeez.
Right? And I think that's just fantastic. I think when we get to that day...
Where was that last year when I was developing my app, bro?
sorry, bro.
You should have
Siri.
Siri, build me an app, please.
But yeah, that's interesting. So computer programmers are they're not anyway more protected than illegal. Yeah. Everyone's
So, we're gonna get into the next break. Play a banger. There's Valentine's Day coming up, so obviously
then we're gonna taste some popcorn after.
I don't know if I want to.
Don't forget the popcorn.
Hello. You are listening to Like a Boss. We're back online. So this is the penultimate part of the show. This is either the part where we take flight or you crash or burn.
So
if you're from the Tango Popcorn division, please watch this with a bit of concern because we're actually gonna try your orange Tango Popcorn. First of all, guys, I'm trying the orange version. You guys are trying the apple version. What do you think of the packaging? Let's analyze the packaging.
it looks cool. I like the little slogan: 6 of your 5 tangs a day.
I didn't find that funny, to be fair. I didn't catch that one, mate. So whoever writes jokes for you, man.
Photosynthesang.
Still not funny. Still unfunny.
But you know what? It is keeping with the standard Tango branding for their drinks.
Very consistent.
Yeah, very consistent.
Okay,
so we're gonna pop it open. I think
let's open it.
Let's do apple, orange, apple.
Well, I think we should pass them around. I don't want to hold back. I think because I want to try.
I like that. No, I like that. Pass the popcorn. Pop it to the left, though. Only to the left-hand side. Okay. Let me see how. Oh, it's quite easy to open. You know, when you know, quite efficient. Yeah. No! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'm gonna smell it first.
No, don't sniff the thing.
You know, it really has no real smell. Like
it's like when you put it in your mouth, you get deceived that it's actual normal popcorn. Then you just taste the diabetes follow.
Yeah, this is
it tastes nasty.
Questionable to say the least. It tastes like popcorn,
but you know what? These guys have probably been nice enough to sponsor KCL Radio, so you have to give a very honest review.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's really not as bad as I thought it would be. It tastes like popcorn. It tastes like popcorn for sure. I don't really taste the orange. It's more like
it tastes
after sense that just sort of comes in there. Mostly I'm tasting popcorn and sugar.
It tastes sugar. Then you taste the orange sugar. Get the kick.
Yeah, it comes very late.
It tastes like you've just eaten an orange and then a bag of popcorn. Like it's
something like
they're separate.
You know what? It's sweet. I think people will like this. There'll be people out there who like it. I mean, you're still taking more of it, Oli.
Yeah, I'm a fatty.
Let's try the apple.
The apple one.
Okay.
Apple flavored popcorn, you know, this is crazy. Like a boss, you know, we're bringing you A1 reviews. So if you go to the
you can
cinema,
taste the apple more in this than you can taste the orange in the other one.
It's not bad.
I'm allergic to apples, you know. I am allergic to apples. You know how long it took me to actually realize I was allergic to apples as well? I was eating them my whole childhood, yeah, and then like 5 minutes later I'd be like obviously because my throat would be mad itchy, like it was all mad. And then there was one day, this is when I knew I had a pear, and like my lip I ate the pear and then my lip like began to swell.
It's like that's so Raven.
It was crazy. I swear I thought I had cancer. Like I seriously thought I had cancer. I had to go to bed and wake up. Luckily when I woke up it was gone. But yeah, I'm actually allergic to apples, so hopefully
you're still doing it for the gram.
Alright, Olu, man.
You know, I prefer the orange one if I had to pick one.
Nah, the apple one's worse.
Yeah, the apple one is definitely worse.
Oh
the apple
my
taste
god!
You can definitely taste the apple.
Oh my god!
Sure, you can really. Thing is, on its own, apple taste is nice. It's like when you taste the apple, it's like it's not bad. You taste the popcorn, it's pretty good. But together, they have no business being together.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I think the apple one's probably not my pick.
So,
in fact, I probably wouldn't.
So let me ask you guys. Yeah, you guys have a session of Netflix and chill with Bae.
Oh,
she's come over, and you have to choose one. Or you can say none if you're not a type of popcorn sort of Netflix and chill sort of guy, you know, straight to the point. What would you do? You've got this on the side, it's Netflix and chill. Are you guys going for it? Are you guys giving it a miss?
I'd give it a miss.
You give it a miss.
Yeah, I'd give it a miss. It's definitely not the apple one. Definitely. But if she's into like kind of weird stuff, then yeah, maybe the Tango orange
weird
version.
Stuff, you know.
Yeah, weird stuff. Let's just leave it at that.
Weird dude.
Jeez. I don't know, I might have to just agree with Chin. If my girl's a freak, I hit her with the orange.
Yo! Hit her with the orange. Not literally, people. It's not meaning that literally. Ross
no
doesn't
domestic
hit.
violence.
Yeah, it doesn't hit women with.
Yeah, of course. Hit her with the orange. I'll meet you with a bag of popcorn, baby. I know that's what you like.
Whoa, dude.
Hey.
Yeah, put it out there like a boss.
Of course.
Yeah, nah. Maybe I might do the orange to be fair.
I think the orange.
It tastes. It's got that sugar in it, so it's kind of
acceptable popcorn there.
You like
but
it on the
I do. It's all right. Okay. But it's the circle. It's just the image of an orange on a pack of popcorn that just does my head in. Guys, you need to work on the branding. But out of 10, are you guys gonna give it a number?
10, I will give this a 4.5 for the orange. Probably like a 2 for the apple. Sorry.
I'll give them both a 4. Like,
You know what? I give it a 5. To be fair, I do like the Tango orange one, so we'll give you a 5, guys, for the popcorn orange. For the apple, that one doesn't even register, fam. That one gets dashed away.
No, but you know what? I think this is right because first of all, we have popcorn trails on the floor here, and there's the huge box of all these popcorns, and you would notice that only the apple ones are left. All the orange ones are gone. We literally just had one orange one left.
Yeah, and that's the one I took.
So yeah, let's take wisdom from those who were here before us.
Yeah, shout out the KCL radio team. You guys have made this mystery a lot more easier to solve. So we're reaching the end of the show. Is there any announcements you got for them guys? Like all the dinosaur debates, all the things?
Yeah, so we have our episode from the chip shop, which is not a radio episode as this. It's just us guys going out, having friendly chat, banter. Also filmed in 360. I'm going to be posting those on YouTube in small chunks, like about 5-minute clips each, so you don't have to actually sit through the entire thing and watch us eat and all that good food.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, you can still pre the food though. Only everyone's just putting out some banter, talking about ourselves. I think it's pretty interesting. Check out our YouTube channel, you're going to see more material there coming soon.
Like a Boss 360.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and also, like I said, our website is going up very shortly soon. We'll just talk more. Let's not give it away. We'll talk more about
keep your eyes peeled. When it comes, guys.
It comes.
I'm giving the orc to Chinasa, so you lot pray for your heirs because
pray for your heirs because this one is a radical choice.
It is a radical choice.
But hopefully, it's a good ending to our show today. I'm gonna play Pros or Gogoro. This is Afrobeat.
And you know, did you even say it properly?
I said it properly.
Ogogoro. Yo, Evo boy guy in.
This song I really like it, so I hope you guys do too. Just remember to tune in next week, 12 to 1, like a boss on KCL Radio.
Hey, you heard the man.
So I'm not really gonna talk much on these, man. The truth is, yeah, most of those people think we're not gonna blow. But I got nothing to say to that, man. We'll be mates. You hear me? Say some never still believe, say na me be pros. Some never still believe, say I never blow. Some never still believe, say I know they smoke. Cause any bit I touch, Mr. Man, it must stop me to smoke. Niggas talking trash like say they chop dustbin. Better throw away your popcorn, no ga. This no be action film. I know where my mama dey. Nobody here feel more than me. We